Perfect. So we will. So we'll go over leaderboards, and then we always like to, talk about something that will help us all, no matter where you are on the journey. So this is for this week, but guys, whenever you see the leaderboards, they're for the week prior. So I always want to talk about that because that was something in the beginning that always texted what I had all this the leaderboards of the week before. So this is the Felix Durgan Ellison Agency Master Call. Away we go. So this is Symmetry Week 4. Again, guys, if you're new or as a reminder, Symmetry has either 4 weeks in a turn-in period or 5, depending on where the week falls, where the month starts, rather. And the great news about looking at this calendar, well, first thing is it lets you know you got to turn it on. You got to put the pedal down, because if you're close to a promotion or you're not where you need to be monthly for what you need to run your house, this is what you look at. Now, back in the day, as they say, it used to cut off right here because we didn't have instant issue products. The draft comes out immediately, that counts. So essentially, with the instant issue products or instant approval, Americo, we have many, you could write business on 29th or 30th and it could count for April. Okay, so you have to, again, if you don't know what that looks like in terms of draft dates, how to set that up with the client, reach out to your upline, because I've also seen people write business and not know, and they put it into, like, say, May 5th, thinking, well, I wrote it in April, right? But it has to issue in April. So we're in week 4. We got a nice solid week. We got the little, holiday one day behind us, and off we go. So next slide, please. New writers for April. We've got Rebecca, I think goes by Becky, direct Paige, and Mia, direct to me. And Mia and I had really great conversation on Friday just regarding, sticking to it, using the scripts, and I'm excited for her because she's somebody that, is committed to going through that learning curve. So welcome. All right, for the week of 4/12, in the Durgan Ellison base stop, guys. So again, this stat is just Margaret, just for the week. We had IBL 1 app for 926 APV. Kristen Walsh, the aforementioned 4 apps. Nice job, Kristen, for 2042. This Paige Durgan, 2 apps, 3465. Tommy Boy, nice. 4 apps, 5768. Good week there, bud. And then Margaret Jensen, 10 apps for 38,251. So guys, this number here, when we say uncapped, 107,411 APV mark, that's just crazy. So what the uncapped is, when you write business, they cap it at 7,500 in terms of the leaderboards themselves, but she still will get paid on all of that. So great job. So for the week, 21 apps, 50,454 APV, and if you put in Margaret's uncapped, you're at 118,804. Not a bad week right there. Month to date.
Can I interrupt for a second? I have a question. Are they always doing copy and paste on Margaret, or she does $100,000 every week?
Every week, just every week. Look at Margaret's like, oh, Rafa. So Rafa's in that same platform.
So Rafa,
go ahead, Margaret.
You have to go public now and say it on a call, right?
I love it. But I mean, again, that's showing you what's possible. Did Margaret come out of the gates blazing? No, none of us, I don't think, did. But she made sure anytime she didn't understand a process, a script, whatever it was, she would find out. She just didn't sit there and say, geez, maybe I can't do this, or geez, maybe the system doesn't work for me. She always found out. Don't just sit there. I always say that. Text your mentor. If we're not available, put it in Teams, find out. So this number here, guys, is a result of Margaret doing just that. Trying new platforms, being on the calls, the new types of leads. You have to embrace some of the nuances and some of the pivots that are required in our business, in our world, right? So April month to date, 8 writers, 1 new, 83 apps for 149,120 APV. Stellar week to date. And then, in the Felix agency, geez, well, Rafa is using the same platform coming up, and he's getting that worked out. So I have no doubt. So next slide, please. For the Felix Space Shop last week, we had 13 apps for 15,332 APV. We had Mia, 3 apps. Great job, Mia, getting through the learning curve for 431. I had myself, 2 apps for 2,087. Mr. Brandon, again, his ratios are always perfect. 2 apps for 2,837. And Mr. James Burge, 2 apps for 3,667. And Rafa, 5 apps for 6,309 APV. And then month to date, 6 unique writers, 1 new, 36 apps, 45,779. Great job, guys. Promotion guidelines. These are in HQ. If you don't have them printed out or somewhere saved, please do so. This is the roadmap to getting paid on more of the business that you already are writing. Okay. It allows you to track your numbers. It lets you see, if I do this, this, and this, I can give myself a raise. How many opportunities are like that? I mean, in the corporate world, you could be so effective, you could come in early, stay late, help somebody else on a project, and chances are you're making the same. Or, like I heard Tommy say this too, the worst thing is you do a great job, they put you on salary. Now they own you. Now they're going to get their pound of flesh. So here, this is about knowing, here, if I do this and this and this, how close am I to make more? So print these out, make sure you're looking at them week over week so that if you need to adjust, you can. That's the best part about this opportunity. Now this slide here, it's who's recruiting, who's building a legacy, who's bringing people with them on the journey, who is building something that, so if they want to take a trip, they win a trip, they want to take a family vacation, they can come back with more money in their account than when they left. I think any of us would want that. So this is how it's done. You have to share the opportunity. Page 49 shares, if you will. Tommy Boy 43, Ebel 5, myself with 22. Guys, what these numbers represent are the packets out, the sharing of the opportunity, right? Because we know that everybody, if they're paying attention, would look at this opportunity and say, yes, I want that money, I want that flexibility, I want to have that impact. But not everyone is willing to do what it takes, especially in the beginning, to get there and go through the learning curve. So this is about sharing the opportunity with as many people as you can. And remember, symmetry is caught, not taught. So that's what this slide is for anybody new on the call. It's they're building out their team and their legacy. Future agency owners. This is exactly that. So we had Ibel, 2 writers for 2968 APV, and Team Margaret Jensen, 1 writer, 38,251, and of course 107,411 uncapped. And I think I just saw where Margaret, it has one of her tenants, I think they own some rental properties coming into the business. That's a perfect example. Probably Dr. Margaret saw what she was doing and said, hey, you know, what's this about? So great job on that. Next slide, please. The trips. Guys, this is a great way to see the world on the insurance carriers. So if you like to travel, you have always wanted to travel, go into HQ and look at the contest. They're very doable. What this is about is the carrier sponsor travel, and where appropriate, you can place your business with them. And again, when I came in, it was kind of like you always thought it was really out of reach. No, it's like anything. It's a matter of just focusing on one of those. I mean, and just going for it. So this changes about every 6 months now. It used to be like once a year, but all the carriers, they'll change it about every 6 months. So HQ, go into the news and contest tab. And ways to connect, guys. So if you're on this call, chances are you're in these, but there are 3 team strings that you'll see. If you don't have one of them, chances are everything's posted typically on the C Miller, but things that are specific to our agencies will be on these 2. And then, of course, this workroom that we're in right now, you'll see Carl hop in here. I believe he's dialing later. You'll see people running appointments. If you're new, just hop in and listen. Take some notes. You know, the best way to, again, realize that everybody gets the same objections. Sometimes you'll get some crabby people. That's okay. You watch how anybody that's been here a while handles that, and it can help you out immensely. Next slide, please. And this is the Walk of Fame. This is every day. We have a different training, 30 minutes, depending on where you are. So the one right after this call here is for anybody just in pre-licensing, going through it, maybe ready for their test, maybe they just got licensed, and what do? Right? You can hop on any and all of these multiple times because different people host it. So it'll be different perspectives, different, kind of paths, different journeys. So hop on this. Today it's right after this call. And then Tuesday and Thursday, it's right before our breakfast club. And then Wednesday and Fridays is at the same time, 10 a.m. Eastern. So I don't know about you guys, but great feedback on this. Yep, sorry, Krista, go ahead. And then we are sponsoring a trip for our agencies. This is going to be fun, guys. We're still waiting on final confirmation on times, but registering for conference is a big one. That's 3,000 points. We have for people who are building and producing. And so it's kind of incentivized in all of the right ways. So there'll be one winner and a guest per agency. And once we get our dates, we're going to start tracking this at month's end because it is based on issued business. So we need to know what those numbers are. So this is something that we're really, really excited about. So guys, what did you say this week at Page Durgan? That is it. What I want to talk about today is I always like to look at, where everybody is, going back to the basics and really understanding why we talk so much about cracking your numbers, not even if you're new, for the whole course of what you're doing here. Because again, like I was mentioning earlier, if you're going for a promotion or if you're struggling with something, sometimes it's really hard. It's like that saying of it's hard to see the forest through the trees. I think that is how it goes. Sometimes it's really hard to see where maybe some corrections need to be made because you're in it, right? And you're just trying to tread through it. And so I'll play the video that I've played it before several months ago, but it always is a good reminder of tracking your numbers also sets the proper expectations for us and you, right? So you don't think, oh, I invested in this and I haven't made, what I need to. Well, chances are it might just be there needs to be a tweak in what you're doing, investing, whatever that is. Okay. So this is within Summit, and it's Ian Graham talking about that 4-lap mile within Symmetry. But beyond that, how to track your numbers and that counting what counts. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, the spreadsheet. It's about tracking your numbers and sending them to your upline daily. Okay. So that way, okay, if I've made 300 dials, I'm just right at the beginning, right? So they would say, talk to me after 1,000 dials, but I say, 300 dials your first week is about standard. So I'm going to share my screen, and then you guys just have to let me know that you can hear it. Hold on one moment. Let me see if I can get there. I think we're right here. Okay. I closed my own tab on myself. That's exciting. All right. You guys would let me know you can hear this too. You can see it okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We got it.
Good.
Okay.
Welcome back. The objective of this video is for you to be able to understand the 4 metrics and evaluate specific data so that you'll have the confidence in using the Counting What Counts Google Sheet and a strong desire to keep track of your metrics. The outcome from this video will be you, as the agent, knowing how to calculate the metrics so you can feel empowered to analyze your areas of strength as well as your areas of opportunity. So, let's talk about the Symmetry Learning Curve. Here in rows 18 through 22 of the Google Sheet, and discuss what each lap is and how it relates to a skill and a metric and how to calculate it. Lap 1, we have book appointments. This is the contact to appointment ratio, and this is based on the lead levels on your activity report. I want you to picture a deck of cards. In a deck of cards, there's 52 total cards, and there's 4 aces, 4 kings, 4 queens, etc. Now imagine flipping through the deck of cards one after another, and you get through 40 of the cards, and there haven't been any aces yet. Are you worried? Of course not. You know the aces are just hanging out in the back of the deck. The leads are the same way. And our contact to appointment ratio, sometimes we're ahead of the metrics, sometimes we're behind, but just know, eventually, those yeses turn up. So we have to keep going through the no's to get to those yeses. There are a certain amount of families in each batch of leads who are serious, and it's important for us to help those who need it. Additional metrics for success are the resolution percentage and the dials per hour. There's more to come on these later. Lap 2. The skill here is sitting with the appointments. The ratio is the sit ratio. You've booked the appointments, now let's make sure you're actually sitting down with those families, whether in person or virtually, and giving yourself a chance to protect them. In lap 3, our skill is writing apps to protect those families. And the ratio is close ratio. This indicates how many times you're adding value into the community by protecting families. And finally, lap 4. The skill for lap 4 is getting those apps approved and issued by the carriers. This corresponds with the net placed ratio. You've done all the work up to this point. Let's make sure we don't miss this final step in getting your clients approved and protected and you getting paid. All right, let's take a look at an example agent. For lead level, this agent chose to invest in A3 leads. They invested in 60 of those A3s. During their dial session, they made 40 contacts. And you can see that the resolution percentage automatically computes. Where it says don't type here, be a good listener and follow those directions, don't type here. It will automatically compute out those ratios for you. On the dials, this agent made 300 dials, and they spent 9 hours on the phone, which will automatically compute out those dials per hour. That's simply the total dials they made divided by the amount of hours that they spent dialing. This agent booked 6 appointments, and they sat with 2 of those appointments. Again, the ratio will automatically calculate, and our sit ratio is determined by the appointments sat divided by the amount of appointments they booked. The apps written was 2, and the close ratio is determined by apps written divided by the amount of appointments sat. In this case is 100. And the APV submitted is 2,000, and they placed all 2,000 of that. Our net placed ratio percentage is computed by APV placed divided by APV submitted. Now I want to walk through the standards for these different metrics. Our lead resolution percentage should be 80% or higher. Our contact to appointment ratio isn't necessarily shown on here because depending on the lead level you're working, those ratios are already on the Symmetry activity report, and you're able to understand what the expectation is based on the lead level that you're working. The dials per hour should be 30 or more. The sit ratio percentage, that is 67% if we're working virtually, or 75% sit ratio if it is in person. And the close ratio standard is 50% or higher. And finally, that net placed ratio is 75% or higher. So our net placed ratio of 75% standard, that should be the standard that you hold for yourself. I do realize that the Symmetry promotion guidelines state that you only need a 60% net placed ratio or higher to earn your promotions. But you consider yourself above average, right? Hold yourself to above average standards and get that business issued writing quality business with a 75% clip. That net placed ratio is based on 2 factors. Factor 1 is the app actually being approved and accepted by the carrier. And the second factor is it stays on the books. That's called persistency. Now, if a client were to win the lottery and they decide they no longer need or want mortgage protection and they cancel their policy, we should, as agents, track that negative APV in the net place tracker and account for it in the APV placed row on our Counting What Counts Google Sheet so that we have an accurate calculation toward earning our promotions. Take out a pen and paper to analyze this example of an agent's completed Counting What Counts sheet. I want you to write down at least 2 strengths and at least 1 area of opportunity for this agent. Look at the monthly totals when doing your analysis. We want to make sure that we're looking at trends, not just snippets. I've actually personally identified 5 strengths and 2 learning opportunities of this agent So if you do want to earn an extra credit, pat in the back, don't limit yourself to just finding the minimums. Now, don't just skip through this part. Understanding how to utilize this tool is going to be a crucial part of your success. Go ahead and hit pause, and then hit play again once you've written down at least 2 strengths and 1 area of opportunity for improvement.
Guys, I will stop sharing there because I know we're right on the Walk of Fame call, but I wanted to start with this because we have many newer people on the call coming into the actual agencies, and understanding that lead resolution will drive all of your other numbers. So striving for 80% resolution, what's resolution? That's somebody you talk to, you got through a few sentences or the entire script. It's resolution, good, better, ugly, I always say. So if you get 100 leads, the goal here is to absolutely get resolution on 80% of those. And if you do that, and that might mean you call at different times of the day, you call different days. So that number there can drive the contacts, which drives the appointment. So it has to start from that spot. And again, I didn't know that in the beginning, that it was just really, if I focused on investing in leads, making the dials, if I got in touch with my leads, then the numbers like Ian was talking about, they'll play out. We're not looking to make people interested. We're just looking for the interested people in that stack of leads, whatever that might look like. So guys, I'll pause it there so that anybody that is or wants a refresher that's in the study course, brand new, just got licensed, what does that look like? Next steps, getting your portal set up, your carrier contracts, hop on with Amy Miller in the Walk of Fame, which is in that thusly named breakout room. Guys, so have a great week, and then let's go support Tommy on the call at 3. Bye, guys.